Hi, everybody. I just wanted to take a chance to go through a short answer, paragraph argument, free response question. We know that's one of the two question styles that we're going to see on the AP exam this year. So we're going to walk through one of those questions and see how we could possibly answer it. If you want a little more detail on what the expectations are for those paragraph answers, I have another video that explains what they're looking for and what the structure of that should be. But in this video, we're going to actually go through one of those problems and talk about a good strategy for answering it. So let's take a look. Here we have a question. I'm just going to read it. We have the three pictures of a diver jumping off a platform. Looks like they're flipping. And it says, the figures above show three stages of dive performed by an athlete. During the dive, the athlete completes several rotations in midair while traveling from the platform to the surface of the water. Figure 1 shows the athlete just after jumping off the platform. Figure 2 shows the athlete rotating in midair. Figure 3 shows the athlete about to enter the water. All that stuff, really straightforward. You could see it right in the picture. Okay, let's see what the question is asking us. In a clear, coherent, paragraph-length response that may also contain figures and/or equations, explain why the athlete's angular speed increases between figure 1 and figure 2, but decreases between figure 2 and figure 3. So here they're talking about our first picture, their first picture to the second picture. Their rotation is getting faster and faster. They're rotating faster. And then from 2 to 3, their rotation slows down. And if you've ever seen, watched the Summer Olympics, you've noticed that. The diver jumps off the board. They start rotating. It goes really fast. When they first jumped, they weren't rotating. They got really fast. And then they stretch out so that they can enter the water, and they need to stop rotating as they enter the water. So why does that happen? So what I want to talk about is what's a good strategy to answer these paragraph-style questions. And I'm going to talk about a structure. I'll call it CRE. Okay? CRE stands for your claim, the reason you're making that claim, and your evidence for that claim. Okay? So the claim is actually given to us in this problem. They're telling us what we're trying to prove. The claim is what you want to explain. Okay? And they're saying, explain why angular speed increases between figure 1 and 2, but decreases between figures 2 and 3. So my first sentence of my paragraph will be, the diver's angular speed increases between figures 1 and 2 and decreases between figures 2 and 3. I'm literally rephrasing their question as a sentence. Okay, so check. We've made a claim. We're saying that they have increased their angular speed and then decreased their angular speed. That's a claim. Now, we need a reason for that. Okay, and when we give a reason, our reasons are going to be based on some physics principle, okay? So some overarching physics phenomenon that we know. And in this case, the reason that we know their speed is increasing and decreasing is because angular momentum is conserved. So our claim is that the athlete's angular speed increases from figure 1 and figure 2, between figure 1 and figure 2, but decreases between figures 2 and figures 3. And the evidence for that is that angular momentum is a conserved quantity. Angular momentum is conserved. Okay? Now, this is where the evidence comes in. This is where you need to take something from this picture and explain how conserving angular momentum means that in the first step of the process, speed increases. In the second step, angular speed decreases. Okay, so what is the evidence that we have from this picture that could explain how conservation of angular momentum will cause that increase and decrease in angular speed. Okay, and here's something that you could say. In figure 2, the athlete pulls her arms and legs closer to the point of rotation, or closer to her center of mass, which is also the point of rotation. Okay, so the rotational inertia, or the moment of inertia, decreases, right? Since angular momentum is conserved, and L equals I omega, I'm going to write that here. So now we're throwing in a equation. Okay. This is our angular momentum. And we're not talking too much about the physics. I'm just talking you through the structure, right? Our angular momentum, our moment of inertia, and our angular velocity, right? Just reminding you those variables. So we're saying that since angular momentum is conserved and L equals I omega, the angular velocity increases, right? If this L is constant, I'm going to put an equal sign under it. It's not going up, it's not going down. It's conserved. And we just said that in that from first to second, I has decreased. If this number, this variable decreases, what has to happen to omega? It has to increase. So notice that in our evidence part of our paragraph, we have to say things that are given to us in our problem. Okay, let's continue with our argument because we've only made half of our, we've only given half of our argument, right? We've only explained why we've sped up. So in figure 3, the athlete extends her arms and legs, increasing the rotational inertia and decreasing the angular velocity. Again, this governed by this equation. Okay? So 3 parts to a good paragraph. Our claim, a lot of times we can pull that right out of our question. Our reason, which is the physics phenomena that would explain what's happening and why that claim is true. And then we have to give evidence. It could be, in this case, just from a picture, and we can describe what we see in a picture. It could be a table or a graph or a chart. It could be some description in words of measurements that were taken. But it has to be the things that you see from the specific problem that they give you. That's what goes into our evidence. Okay? And if you notice, usually a claim is about 1 sentence. The reason is about 1 sentence. But your evidence is going to be, 2 or 3 sentences, maybe a little bit more. They do not want flowery language. They do not want you to be poetic in your explanation. Short, direct, to the point. Claim, reason, evidence is a great way to go about that. I hope it helped, and I hope you use this strategy on your AP exam. Good luck on it. Take care.